Hello students, welcome to Medicorus. Today we are going to discuss the living world chapter 1 of class 11. So if we consider the living world, we know that in this biosphere we have three different types of organism. One is known as living organism, other one is known as non-living entity, and the third one is known as lifeless. So though the lifeless concept is not there in case of NCERT and it is only mentioned about the living organism and the non-living entity, but still we need to know some of the important information about the lifeless. So if we consider the living organism, that means they must have some conditions. Usually we used to discuss about the growth, reproduction, cellular organization, consciousness, and the metabolic activity. Along with all these points, we have some other points also which can define or it may not define the living organism. But if we consider the non-living entity, that means they are simply the dead organisms or they can consider as a dead entity. And if it is a lifeless, then we understood they used to be living, but now it is not living. So if the organism which was living but because of certain cases it is non-living and still it is used in the biosphere, then that is known as lifeless. For example, we can give here the wooden furniture. So as we can understand that wooden furniture, if we are saying that means wood is obtained from the plant is a living entity, but when we are making the furniture at that time it is considered as a non-living entity. So it is the wooden furniture, it is the lifeless entity. So let's check one by one all the characteristics feature of the living and let's see whether they are the defining or the not defining feature. The first most important concept or the characteristic feature of living organism is the growth. So if we consider growth, it has twin character. So as everyone knows, the twin characters means two character. So here the two numbers of character are, first one, growth means increase in number of cell, whereas we can give one more information like increase in number of mass is also known as growth. But if we check that growth is actually of two different types. Some growth are known as accretion kind of growth and some growth are known as intussusception growth. So if we consider the accretion kind of growth, it means accumulation of material outside the body. And if we consider intussusception, that means it is the assimilation or the accumulation of material inside the body. So if one body is actually accumulating some substances and therefore the body size is increases or the mass is increases, then that condition is known as intussusception. Whereas if accumulation happens outside the body, then in most of the cases it is considered as the non-living growth or the accretion kind of growth. So this case, in this accretion kind of growth, we can consider this growth is for the non-living entity and intussusception growth is for the living entity or living organism. So here we have multiple examples to define the accretion kind of growth or intussusception kind of growth. Let's check one by one. Under accretion kind of growth, we can give example of any furniture. So if we need to increase the size of the furniture, then we just need to put another piece of the same furniture. Suppose if we have a table and that table, whatever the length of that table, if I want to increase the length or the width, then I have to add one more piece of the wood in the same area so that it can increase the length, right? So this case is known as accretion kind of growth, as the deposition happens outside. Similarly, if dust particle will fall on this table, then also it is increasing in size, so that is also considered as the accretion kind of growth. Whereas if we check that cells used to grow in size, and because of deposition of certain chemicals which are present inside the body. Those chemicals are nothing but the biomolecules or biochemicals which can make the cytoplasm. That means if we can increase the content of the cytoplasm inside the cell, then the cell size will increase, and when cell size will increase, ultimately it can divide into two, and then we will get the two individual cells. This division of the cell concept is because of its growth. So here we can consider the intussusception kind of growth. But please remember, inside the living organism also we may have some kind of accretion growth we can see. For example, in case of plant cell wall, the growth of tertiary cell wall is the result of accretion growth, whereas the development of primary cell wall is the result of intussusception growth. So here we can conclude that as accretion kind of growth can be observed in the non-living object also, so we can't consider growth as the characteristic feature or defining feature of living organism. So growth is not a defining feature for living organism. So I hope everyone understood what we actually describing about the growth, and that growth we can relate with one more word, and that is what we know it as the reproduction. So in reproduction character, we are going to see how growth and the reproduction is synonymous. Especially it happens in case of unicellular organism, especially if it is a bacteria I can write, or any unicellular organism, then it can undergo some asexual reproduction or binary fission, in which they can increase their number of cells because of reproduction. But as we have just studied that one of the character of growth is increase in the number of cell. That means if we are increasing the number of cell, then that is considered as growth as well. But in case of unicellular organism, reproduction ultimately increases the cell number only. That means for unicellular organism, growth and reproduction is synonymous. I hope everyone can write this point, as you have got this information in your school standard also. So you can write this point, and please remember, in board examination you'll have this question for 2, or sometimes it may ask for the 3-mark question. So please note it down that how we can define growth and reproduction synonymous in case of unicellular organism. Now let's check the next important characteristic feature, and that is the cellular organization.
That we have atoms, and atoms ultimately it makes the molecules. Now, how many molecules we have for non-living? 3. What are the names? So it is the colloid, crystal and lecture, right? After the molecule, here also we have some molecules. Please remember, these molecules are biomolecules. These are not this type of molecules, these are biomolecules. If biomolecules I have, then definitely I can make the cell, and from the cell it is the tissue which we can develop, and from the tissue we can make the organ, and from the organ we have the organ system, right? And from the organ system we have the individual, right? Till this much we need to see for the living world. And please remember, cell, if I'm saying this is the smallest unit of the living entity or living organism, and individual is the largest entity, right? So cellular organization we are doing. So what we can write here, that is, if there is biomolecule, there must be the concept of cell, and if we are discussing about the cell, this is only the living entity. Non-living entity is not having any kind of cell. Therefore, cellular organization is the defining feature of living organism, right? So this is our first point. Second point, do not forget to write these two things. That is, the smallest unit is what, and the largest unit in case of living organism, it is what, right? So the smallest unit is the cell and the largest unit is the individual. Fine. So this is what we have for the cellular organization. Please note these 2 points. Children, you should write here smallest, right? Not small units. In that cellular organization, you have seen the biomolecule. The word biomolecule is there, right? Without biomolecule, I can't make the cell. The biomolecules are helping the metabolic activity. So next point is, that is the third point, is the metabolism. So please note it down, the metabolism concept. See, in case of metabolism, this word is actually represent what? Sum of total of all chemical reaction that happens inside the living organism, right? Inside the living organism, or instead of writing living organism, I can also write cell. Fine. So if there is living organism, that means there is concept of cell, right? So sum of total of all chemical reaction that happens inside the living organism. If I am giving here chemical reaction as one of the important component, then I can say chemical reaction may takes place outside the cell also. Yes, this may happen outside the cell, and it may happen inside the cell as well. Inside the cell. If I am discussing the chemical reaction which is outside the cell, that is known as in vitro. In vitro culture. That means we have to use what? Number 2, here it involves the laboratory. Okay, laboratory is used in this case. Fine. Again, if I consider inside the cell, it means what? It is in vivo culture. Please remember, if the term vivo is there, it means the life. Okay. And then number 2, what I can write here? It is not happen inside the laboratory, but it happens inside the living organism, right? So I should write here, it happens inside the living body. I hope this 2 point is very clear to everyone. Third point, see, outside the cell, whatever chemicals we are going to get, that chemicals may be organic, but that chemicals may not be biomolecule. Okay, it may or may not be biomolecule. So that's what we need to write here. It may or may not be biomolecule, because we need to use some inorganic molecule as well, right? But if it is the condition for inside the cell, that means I have to use what? Only biomolecules are used. Now please write down the 4th number. See, every chemical reaction if we are doing, then we must have some kind of catalyst, right? So please write down under the first part, that is outside the body, the catalyst which is used is inorganic catalyst. Okay, catalyst means what? The chemical which can increase the rate of reaction. So let me write this for you so that you can understand what is catalyst. Catalyst means what? The chemical substance which can increase the rate of reaction. Right? So this is what the catalyst is. That means if we want to do some kind of chemical treatment, then we need to get the first result. So who will give me the first result? Catalyst will give me the first result. Okay, fast it will happen. But the same thing inside the body is known as biocatalyst. Okay, that means please write down the enzyme. Enzyme known as biocatalyst is used during the process or chemical reactions. Okay, during the process or the chemical reaction. So I hope everyone now understood that this enzyme we never can extract outside. Because of that only, if the concept enzyme is there, then it must be the biocatalyst, which is only and only present inside the living organism. But if we are considering catalyst, that catalyst may be inorganic also, and that may be present outside. Fine. So what we need to write, last point, number 5th point I can write, if enzymes are involved, biomolecules are involved, living cells are involved, known as, this is known as metabolism. Fine, this is known as metabolism. But if we consider, here let me write the 5th point, if we consider that biomolecules may or may not involve, you have no say, you can't use any biocatalyst, you have to use some inorganic catalyst, then this is not considered as metabolic activity. It is known as, please write down, it is known as living reaction. Fine. So I hope this two part is clear to everyone. What is living reaction and what is metabolism? So what I can conclude here, metabolic activity is the best feature of living organism. Please fill up the blanks. What it should be? Defining or not defining? Defining feature for living organism. Then the 4th point, and that is what? Reproduction. Definition for the reproduction. Please write it down. The process in which organisms increases their numbers, yes, with the same or different genetic constituent is known as reproduction. See, now we have given some word, some extra word we have added here. What it is? Same or different genetic constituent. So I hope everyone understood this part, that genetic constituent we are representing the genes, right? Sometimes what happens when the organisms increases their number, that means when they actually reproduce, at that time you may get the same type of genetic information like the parent, or you may not get. You may get different kinds of genetic information also. So depending on this only, reproduction. Okay, reproduction is of 2 different types. One is sexual kind of reproduction and other one is asexual kind of reproduction. Yes, I hope you understood. If it is the sexual kind of reproduction, that means different genetic constituent will be there. Different genetic, okay. Instead of writing constituent, you can write information. Okay, genetic information is present. Okay, and if it is asexual, then it is same genetic information is present. Now, so if you have different genetic constituent, that means number 2, the variation is or can be observed. Okay, so where there is variation, please remember, where there is variation, that means you are vigorous variety or you are improved variety, high variety. You have the ability to survive in the environment, right? So what I can write here, number 3, parental genomic constituent is not conserved. That means you have not only taking your parental genome, but also you have added some other genome. So it helps in the evolutionary progress. That means you can survive in the environment. Please remember, evolutionary progress, if in that you are involved, that means you are higher quality gene, right? You have that higher quality gene. So evolutionary progress means higher quality also I can write. Now come to the asexual. So as they are keeping their parental information, so there will be no variation. So no variation in genome. Genome means what? Let me write this one. Genome means half set of chromosome. Okay, or simply I can write the information of gene. Okay, in a simple word I can write information of gene. This is known as genome. So there is no variation because you are keeping the same parental information, right? So number 3, what I can write here? Parental genetic information is conserved. Fine. And then last point, what we can write? Are they help in the evolutionary progress? Can they survive in the environment? Answer is no, they may not. So what I can write here? They are not surviving, right? That means they are not resistant. If something will happen, they can't resist. They have to die or they have to eliminate from that particular area. So what I can write? Instead of writing these things, I can also write that they are susceptible to the environmental change. Okay, susceptible means what? Opposite of resistance. Opposite of resistance. So next one is what we can write. Number 4th point we wrote. Number 5th point, please write down. See, for sexual reproduction, you must have 2 sexes at least. One is male, other one is female, right? So both male and female parents involved. That's why we can make the variation, right? But here what happened, as you have no variation, that means there is a single parent. A single parent can give rise to new individual. So here the best example we can write higher organisms. In that higher organisms, I can write some organism that is plant. From the plant, I can write it is the angiosperm. Let me write. Okay, it is a plant. And we can also write about the mammals if I'm considering the higher organism in case of animal, right? Not only mammals can do the sexual reproduction. There are some other organisms, higher organisms like vertebrate organisms, they are also involved in the sexual reproduction, right? Just we have given some examples only from plant and animal. Angiosperm, like similarly, in case of plant, not only the angiosperm, gymnosperm also can go for the sexual reproduction, right? In fact, in fungi, algae, they can also go for the sexual reproduction. But thing is that higher organism, if it is, then they are truly sexual. Okay, they are truly sexual, I'm saying. Okay, now here we can give some example here. Like if I'm saying that, okay, fungi it is, let me write the fungi and whatever their NCERT, that only I'm going to write. Okay, fungi, they have sexual spore. Fine. Again, hydra, involved in the budding process. They have small buds. You know the structure of Hydra, right? This kind of structure is their Hydra. So they have this kind of bud. Again, planaria, correct? Planaria, it is the flatworm, and it goes like fragmentation, correct? Then it can go for true regeneration. Why this true regeneration? Let me show you the diagram of planaria in the next page. Please write it down, then I will show you. Okay, now check this one. Planaria, it is very cute to see. Like this is some kind of this type of organism, planaria. So if it is planaria, then if we cut here, if we give one cut here, if we cut here, so this is what the head part is also going to give new individual, new planaria. The body part is also going to give the new individual, and the tail part is also going to give the new individual. So if you are involving all the portions and you are regenerating the organism again, so this is known as true regeneration. I hope everyone understood what is true regeneration. That is involvement of each and every part of the organism. If they can make new individual, then that is known as true regeneration. Right? Okay. Now check these examples. Number A. Number B, Hydra, along with yeast also I can write, right? Budding. Then C is the planaria we have given. Now I have to write the next one, that is B, and this is what? Amoeba. Right? Amoeba and green algae. Let me write unicellular green algae. Unicellular green algae. Can anybody give this answer? Any one of the example of unicellular green algae? Okay, let me give you the example. Okay, this is the Chlamydomonas, or I can write what? Chlorella also. If you remember, the structure is something like this. Yes, we have drawn this structure. Here the eyes are there and the tails are something like this. Yes. So this is the structure of Chlamydomonas. Okay. If I am not going to give this tail or flagella, then it will be chlorella. Right? Chlorella and Chlamydomonas is almost similar, but one has the flagella, other has no flagella. Right? So in this amoeba and unicellular green algae, right? They also can go for the asexual reproduction. And if it is asexual reproduction, then they used to go for binary fission. Okay, and let me tell you one more important information. Binary fission, it is strictly involved with the bacteria also, because bacteria, they have the asexual kind of reproduction only, and they can only go for binary fission, right? Sexual reproduction is not that much of common. It is very rare in case of bacteria. So bacteria, unicellular green algae, amoeba, these are actually showing the binary fissions, right? So we have done with the examples and differences between the sexual and asexual. Fine, this done. But we need to write the point that whether reproduction is the defining feature or not. Okay, that we need to see. And in this topic only, they have mentioned that in case of unicellular organism, the growth and the reproduction, yes, growth and the reproduction is synonymous. What we have discussed already, right? Synonymous. So this I am not going to discuss again. Fine. So there is a controversy about the reproduction, that by seeing the reproduction, can we consider that organism is living or not living? So reproduction is dash feature of living organism, and let me give you some hint. Example is mule, example is sterile couple, yes, or example is sterile honeybee. Yes, very good. So it is a not defining feature, correct? Please remember, sterile honeybee is also known as drone. Okay, it is also known as drone. It has half set of chromosome. Please remember this one. It has half set of chromosome. It means it has n number of chromosomes. So suppose, let me tell you, suppose if I have given one question, that is, in an organism, okay, in an organism, number of ploidy level is 24, then find out number of half of chromosome. Please give this answer. What is the answer here? Yes, it is 12. Please remember the word ploidy, it represents what? Chromosome. Okay. Yes, it is chromosome and it is twice n chromosome. That means they have given the answer twice n is equal to 24. Then find out the half set of chromosome. That means I need to find out the n. So what I will do, 24 divided by 2 become 12. So this is the answer, right? So as we can see here, mule sterile couple, human sterile couple, yes, and sterile honeybee, they are also living, but they probably, because of certain reason, because of chromosome or because of any hormonal or chemical effect, they may not develop new individual. In that case also they are considered as living. So I can't say that reproduction is only going to the defining feature for the living organism. No, so it is not defining feature. I hope everyone can understand this part. So this is what for the reproduction, that means fourth part also we did. Then last part, that is the fifth part we need to do. Okay, the fifth part, and this is the last part, and it is consciousness. So consciousness means aware to environmental condition. Yes, or I can also write it is the ability to give response to the stimulus. Now if I have written here stimulus, that means how many types of stimulus we can get, right? So stimulus is of 3 different types. It may be the physical stimulus, it may be the chemical stimulus, or it may be the biological stimulus. Okay, 3 different types of stimulus we have. And what type of response we could show. So if I am giving here the word response, that means I have 2 different types of response. One is external response and other one is internal response, right? So I have 2 responses. Number 1 is internal and number 2 is external. Let me write it here, external, yes. So I hope you understood that something which is going inside my body, that is my internal response, and by seeing the outermost environment, what response I am giving, that is the external response. But to stimulate those response, I must have some kind of stimulus, and that stimulus may be physical, chemical or biological, right? So under physical stimulus, it may be from the temperature, it may be from the what we call wind, yes, or some light, yes. So these are, or water also I can write, because humidity, those conditions are also there, rain, precipitation, those conditions are also there. So we have so many stimulus which is there outside. Again, chemical stimulus if I'm giving, that means this is the response to my metabolic activity. So how metabolic activity can give response? Like if I'm saying digestion, because of some issues, indigestion may happen. And if it is indigestion, then that is known as what? Emetic reflex. Who is going to tell me what is emetic reflex? Anybody knows what is emetic reflex?
Then please write in the comment section below.
It is the medical term of vomiting. Okay, so we used to do vomit, and you must know that emesis or vomit, that center is there in your medulla oblongata, like for chemical factors, because of your air sickles, and so many things are there because of which your vagus nerve is going to push your stomach, and because of that vomit will happen, right? There are so many things are also involved. I'm not going to discuss those parts. So digestion, the emetic reflex is the chemical stimulus, or if you have some acidity, then also you are going to take some medicines and all. Why it is? Because of the chemical stimulus, right? Again, not only this part, we have some hormonal factors also. Biological means what? Biological means you have five senses. Yes, we all have five senses. That is the touch, vision, everything, whatever the five senses we have, right? So emotionally, when we are bind with somebody, or somebody if touch, then I can feel that one, right? That is the biological or emotional feeling. So that is what the biological stimulus. But please, there is a very thin line between the biological stimulus and the chemical stimulus. The feeling, that is because of the chemical that is released inside my body. So there is a very thin line, but still we have some biological stimulus also. So we understood what type of physical, chemical and biological stimulus may be present in our responses, right? One more point you can write here under the physical stimulus, that is the pollutant. Do not forget to write the pollutant. Why? Because first it is there in NCERT. Second, pollutant means what? Pollution. If it is pollution, we used to close our nose, yes, or we used to go in a different way. So that is also one physical stimulus. Let me give one example which is there in your NCERT textbook about the physical stimulus. Okay, physical stimulus. And this what we are going to see in our physiology chapter also. So this part is very important. And the physical stimulus, one most important example is the photoperiod. Okay, photoperiod. Photoperiod means what? Photo means light and period means the time or the duration. Okay, so please write down photoperiod. The duration of light which affect the seasonal breathers is known as photoperiod. Now seasonal breeders means what? Seasonal breeders means these organisms may be animal, yes, or these organisms may be plant as well, right? Let me give you the example. First example is short day plant. Okay, so if it is a short day plant, that means it grows only when winter season. So example I can give cauliflower. But if I say no, it is the long day plant, that means we need what? Long day period. So long day period is when it is during the summer time, summer season, yes. And if it is a summer season, I can write so many things like tobacco I can write. Yes, mangoes also I can write. Yes. So these are some of the examples in which we can understand, okay, this vegetable or this plant we can get in the winter time, or this plant we can get in the summer time, right? But nowadays it is very common that we can see every type of vegetables in like 12 months only. That is a separate thing because we can make them. We have that provision that we can make them. That is a separate thing. But naturally it is not possible. Only they will grow in certain periods, right? So this is all about your plants. Come to the animals again. If you check that some animals are there like ostrich cycle. So ostrich and estrus cycle, there is a two different thing. Estrus cycle. So please remember, estrus cycle is for the primates. Primates. And one of the primate is we, human being, right? So humans is following the estrus cycle. That means we have a period after every 1 month or 28 days, and then we have the capacity to like conceive every month, right? We have that capacity. That means we are not seasonal breeders. Understood? But oyster cycle means what? Those animals which are non-primates. Non-primates. For example, I can give the cow, yes, cats or goats. So these organisms, they have no period like after an interval. They have a seasonal period. Like they will period during the winter season, or during the in the rainy season they may have this one, right? Or October month, like this period they have. So during that time only they can conceive. So that's why this is known as seasonal breeders. Otherwise, the whole year they never can breed, right? So these are the things. Again, there are some difference between oestrus and estrus that you come to know when you are in the 12th standard. So last point that we need to write, that consciousness is dash feature of living organism. Who is going to tell this answer? Defining. So if we are living, we must have that consciousness. But for human beings, it is very, very controversial. Among humans, we have doctors and we have scientists also. So if the person is going for coma or something, at that time the brain is dead, right? Brain dead happens. So brain dead means you can't respire, you can't do anything. You have to give some external stimulus or external machine you have to place, then only that person can survive. Can anybody give this answer? Which one is a natural pacemaker? Yes, and sinoatrial nodes, right? And that pacemaker is the natural. If I have some problem with this pacemaker, then I have to place another pacemaker which can pump the heart. Again, the same concept is there for the lung also. Yes, we have some other artificial respiratory system. So like that, if we can go, then we can consider the person is living. Why it is living? Because though it has no external stimulus, but it has the internal stimulus also. Yes, internally he or she can understand the things, but externally the person is the brain is that, so externally the person is actually that person, though there is no external stimulus. So this is complicated only for the human being because we have these machines. For dog, I'm not going to give this kind of machine. So if the dog somehow its brain is dead, we are going to consider that dog as a dead. Right? So this is what we have the problem with the human. Fine. So we have completed the defining and not defining feature.